UFO Channel.
It all started in World War II. Allied forces were devastating Nazi industry and armament factories with systematic bombing campaigns throughout the territories of the Third Reich. In response, Hitler commissioned the building of underground installations to protect crucial elements of industrial production needed to continue the war effort, and to hide certain top-secret technologies that were under development. The TOT organization, a group of highly skilled civil engineers, under the direction of Xaver Dorsch, began the construction of the massive subterranean facilities in earnest. But by the time they were completed, it was too late. The Allies had already destroyed nearly all of Germany's industrial capabilities and were invading the fatherland. As American forces pushed further into Germany, they discovered the incredible underground installations that the TOT organization had constructed and captured many of the organization's members, including Dorsch. Eventually, some of the high-ranking TOT organization engineers were secreted away to the United States via Project Paperclip to continue their work building underground installations, but this time for the U.S. government. Deep underground military bases, or DUMBs for short, are top-secret subterranean facilities located, in most cases, miles below the surface of the Earth. Commonly built within or beneath hard rock formations, such as mountains, mesas, hills, and plateaus, DUMBs provide maximum security and secrecy for both military and corporate interests. These clandestine underground installations facilitate at least three strategic objectives. The secret construction of both the VHST and the DUMBs that they network together was made possible by top-secret nuclear-powered tunnel-boring machines called subterranes, the patents for which, coincidentally, were filed in 1972 by scientists working at Los Alamos National Laboratory. Due to the advanced technology employed in these machines, exceptionally large tunnels can be made at incredible speeds without generating residual debris. In his book, Underground Bases and Tunnels, Dr. Richard Sauter explains, nuclear subterranes work by melting their way through the rock and soil, actually vitrifying it as they go, and leaving a neat, solidly glass-lined tunnel behind them. The heat is supplied by a compact nuclear reactor that circulates liquid lithium from the reactor core to the tunnel face, where it melts the rock. In the process of melting the rock, the lithium loses some of its heat. It is then circulated back along the exterior of the tunneling machine to help cool the vitrified rock as the tunneling machine forces its way forward. The cooled lithium then circulates back to the reactor, where the whole cycle starts over. In this way, the nuclear subterrane slices through the rock like a nuclear-powered 2,000 degree Fahrenheit earthworm, boring its way deep underground. The United States Atomic Energy Commission and the United States Energy Research and Development Administration took out patents in the 1970s for nuclear subterranes. The first patent in 1972 went to the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission. The nuclear subterrane has an advantage over mechanical tunnel boring machines in that it produces no muck that must be disposed of by conveyors, trains, trucks, etc. This greatly simplifies tunneling. The underground base at Mount Weather is an impressive facility, but it is by no means the largest or the deepest beneath the soils of the United States. The construction of modern DUMBs employs technology vastly superior to what was available in the 1950s. We now have the capability to build veritable cities over 10 miles below the surface of the Earth, completely undetected by the public. Massive multi-level complexes have been constructed in secret with funding from the black budget, literally right under our noses, out of sight and out of mind. In fact, at this present time, according to inside sources, there are over 200 deep underground military bases in the United States alone, and many more in various countries all over the planet. In light of this incredible reality, a glaring question presents itself. How can something so vast, expensive, and ubiquitous be kept secret for so long? In other words, where are the whistleblowers? Enter Phil Schneider. For 17 years, Phil Schneider, an accomplished geologist, structural engineer, and explosives expert, worked on black budget projects for the United States military and multinational private contractors. Possessing a level 3 security clearance, Rhyolite 38, and a near genius level IQ, Phil was versatile in many capacities, but his primary occupation involved the design and construction of deep underground military bases, including some of the most infamous installations on the planet, such as the Area 51 and S4 facilities in Nevada, as well as the Los Alamos and Dulce facilities in New Mexico. After discovering a nefarious conspiracy involving an alleged collusion between factions inside the United States military and a technologically advanced non-human race living in the caverns of the earth, Phil felt betrayed by the leaders of the country he loved and summarily discontinued work with the military. Disillusioned with the government and enraged at the assassination of his colleagues working in black projects and of his closest friend, Ron Rummel, Phil Schneider decided to break his oath of silence and disclose the top-secret activities in which he had been intimately enveloped for so many years. From 1994 to 1996, he lectured all across the country, even under a constant threat of death. In fact, in his final year on the lecture circuit, Phil survived 13 separate assassination attempts involving firefights, car chases, and hand-to-hand combat. However, sadly, the 14th attempt on his life would succeed. On January 17, 1996, Phil Schneider was found dead in his apartment in Wilsonville, Oregon. He was brutally tortured and then, with his hands bound behind his back, was slowly asphyxiated by a catheter tied around his neck. Although Phil's death was dubiously declared to be a suicide, all of the material evidence he carried with him on the lecture circuit, including official documents proving his allegations, along with photographs and fragments of secret alloys used in reverse-engineered military craft, were missing. Besides all of this, Phil had lost the index and middle finger on his left hand in a bizarre incident. There was simply no way that he could have tied the catheter tight enough around his own neck to kill himself. For telling the truth, Phil Schneider paid the ultimate price.
I'm Phil Schneider. I spent 17 years in black budget programs, government geologist, as engineer, structural engineer with aerospace applications, self-taught metallurgist, became kind of famous in my own right. I basically would have a set of notes here, but they're unavailable in all this melee. Up here I have different artifacts explaining some of them are alien metals that have been produced both on this planet and the confines of outer space that are now used in all stealth aircraft. all stealth aircraft, for instance, all black jets, what you're seeing of black helicopters and the like, the skins and the coatings and the residues that are used predominantly in the aircraft themselves, in the airframes and the rotor blades and the fans, and in some cases in submarines, special titanium hulls, in the Phoenix class submarines now. All this has come from alien technology. 1947 is what the public has been told. Something crashed in the backyard in New Mexico, a place called Roswell, New Mexico. Unfortunately, that's what the public's been told. The military's known about the alien question for the better part of 70 years, and they first saw their glimpse of what was going on as early as 1909 in the American Southwest. Now, Army cavalry evidently were chasing some bandits, and they entered this cave. They were holed up in a cave, and what they found in there was flying discs and little gray guys and all kinds of weird things, and they didn't know how to explain that, and they wrote them down as best they could, and it's been in secret archives ever since. And it's up down by the Truth or Consequences area of New Mexico. Well, the alien thing is more than just what I'd call a non-visible threat. We on the surface, first of all information dealing with alien or alien reproduced technology or alien reproduced vehicles or any other kinds of things, well hidden from the American public. Our black budget, for instance, garners $1.023 trillion every 2 years. It's over $500 billion a year. Right now, there are 131 active deep underground military bases in the United States. There's 1,477 of them worldwide. Each one has an average cost of $17 to $19 billion. Each one is built in the site. It used to be it'd take a year to 2 years to build each one, and now they're capable of building a couple of them a year with sophisticated methods. My colleague Al Bielik has actually been on some of the high-speed railways, the magneto-leviton trains that connect all the deep underground military bases within the United States. He's been on a Mach 2 train and floats off of a single rail at 3/4 of an inch off the rail, and is what you'd call high tech. We have nothing like this on the surface. The public basically has been totally lied to. We're considered stupid or even moronic in some cases. It's got to stop. I have actual crashed retriever metal from Roswell, New Mexico. It's given to me when I was 14 years old. For instance, I've got other things. I've got pieces of this piece of titanium, a special titanium alloy made for everything from the original SR-71 Blackberry. That's old hat now. F-117As, they're old hat now. They're making a whole new class of hypersonic above Mach 5 aircraft that employ extremely modern charged particle beam weapons. They don't even use lasers anymore. Computer enhanced imaging radar, although it's used in helicopters for public surveillance, computer enhanced imaging radar, and in satellite technology. The brand new kid on the block is a kind of infrared technology where a satellite 150,000 miles out in a geosynchronous orbit, or not quite geosynchronous orbit, but these spy satellites can literally look in and see a dime on the floor, say on your kitchen floor. They have a resolution factor of 99.999961. This particular piece of metal, I'm going to drop it on the floor here. It'll kind of ring like a bell. You can't break it. Withstand temperatures in excess of 7,500 degrees Fahrenheit. It has niobium in it. It also has mironite in it, element 123. Yeah, please do. It's in a non-crystalline form. This is just kind of a dripping off of out of the main crucible. Here's a crystalline example. It's in the scalenohedral crystalline form. We got this from the large grays technology. This is grown in the confines of outer space, which has not quite a super vacuum, but by the way, this is capable of withstanding temperatures in excess of 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. It's great for certain parts of aircraft. This kind of material I work with on a daily basis. Up here we have a transparency of Groom Lake. Groom Lake is where the infamous Area 51, S4, S2, the CIA base, it was originally a bombing range, a nuclear test site. It was later become the most secret base in the United States. It employs over 18,000 workers who work in shifts of 12 hours at a whack. Most of them work in the cover of darkness, like us. We built 9 underground military bases there, each with an average capacity capable of basically a city underground, roughly 4¼ cubic miles hollowed out underground. They have boring machines, for instance. They don't bore, they literally vitrify and melt the rock, deflagrate the rock. It's a very sophisticated laser melting and deflagrating system. It reduces the rock to a powder and then melts the remaining rock as a coating on the inside of the base, so you don't have to use gunite cements and other kinds of things like that. That's all old hat now. Technology is just basically, the new technology we get is the old hat of the military. I'm going to be real brief about it. I carried a level 1 security clearance, the Rhyolite 38 factor. There are very few of us, there's nobody except myself, to my knowledge, talking like this. Nobody.
If you would like to continue to grow your mind, please push the subscribe button.